Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your artwork. How's it coming along? To help your paper not look like this, get a sketchbook. One of the mistakes I made early on in my art practice was I went out and I bought a very nice sketchbook. Now, you don't want to get the nicest sketchbook in the world, and that's what I tried to do. I thought if I could get the best sketchbook, it would somehow make me into a better artist. So I went and got this sketchbook, which I think it was about $20, and it has very nice thick paper, but every other page, I really wanted to do a complete work of art on there. And I didn't want to just sketch or practice or mess up. I wanted everything to be good, or what I thought was good at the time. As you can see here, I was filling up the full page. This is nice thick paper. I was able to use watercolors on it. And it was nice having a place to keep my artwork, but that's more like a portfolio. And what I needed was a sketchbook. And as you can see, it was so stressful to make a finished piece of art for each one of these pages that eventually got worn out and I didn't finish. So what I want to encourage my students to do is get a cheaper sketchbook. This one was about $5. I believe I got it on sale at Michael's. It's still a good size sketchbook, and the paper's not as thick, but it's perfect for pencil and ink and even color pencils. Not really the best for watercolors, but it'll do good for basic coloring. And for this sketchbook, I took a different philosophy. I brought it with me everywhere I went, and I filled it up. And every page here is filled up with something. Now, is it good artwork? Is every page a masterpiece? Not at all. Some of these are embarrassing to even let you see, and I'm serious when I say that. You know, playing around with ink, just drawing some silly characters, all types of stuff. But I did fill up the sketchbook with all types of different drawings. And what I did was I brought this sketchbook with me whenever I went somewhere. If I had a doctor's appointment, or if I knew I was going to the DMV and I would be waiting in line for a while, I would go ahead and bring my sketchbook. And that's really what you want to do. And I want to challenge you in this class is with your sketchbook, bring it everywhere you go. And whenever there's a time where you have extra time, or you're bored, or you're frustrated, or annoyed, pull out that sketchbook and start sketching. And I'll go ahead and kind of just kind of show you. I just kind of filled up the sketchbook with all types of different stuff. You know, some of it's kind of more clean, some of it's very messy. It's drawing random characters. A lot of it's just kind of recording ideas for paintings or other drawings. So have that be what your sketchbook is for: sketching, practicing, doing studies, making messes, drawing anatomy, drawing characters, writing down words even that stand out to you. And have it be something that you bring everywhere. That's the challenge. Bring your sketchbook everywhere for this entire class and see what you come up with. You don't just have to sketch in your sketchbook for assignments in class, but sketch out poetry, sketch out ideas, sketch out thoughts, sketch out memories, sketch out emotions and feelings. Fill your sketchbook. Every once in a while, I have a student come up to me and they say, "Hey, Trip, I filled my sketchbook." And I'm like, "Awesome." And they're like, "Well, no, now I need another sketchbook." But it's awesome to fill up your sketchbook. Have that be a goal that you can actually fill up an entire sketchbook. So let's go ahead and look at some other types of sketchbooks that are out there in the world. Here's one that I like to play around with this sketchbook. It's a nicer quality sketchbook, and it is what we call a tone tan paper sketchbook. Now, tone tan means that the paper has a tan tone to it. There's also other popular similar sketchbook called a tone gray. I prefer the tone tan just because it gives the more warm tones to your drawing. And what's neat about the tone tan and the tone gray is that you get to pull out your white ink pen or even a white color pencil, and it really makes some of your drawings pop. Even on this one right here, there's just little accents of white, and the colors it works well with the tone tan paper. And this isn't a collection of my best drawings at all. These are just little sketches that when I get an idea, I just sketch something out. So do not have your sketchbook be a portfolio of your best work ever. Have it be your ideas and your thoughts and your practice. This is where we're practicing. This is where we're sketching. So we'll go ahead and stop there. Now there's different things you can do with your sketchbooks. A lot of people like to draw on their sketchbooks. Now the sketchbook's a nice sketchbook, but it is not the same size as a standard a sketchbook that you would use for a beginning art class. So this is about the size of a regular piece of a typing paper. This one's a little bit smaller. I encourage you, if you can, try to get a sketchbook that is larger, not a smaller one like this. But I wanted to show you this so you know that you can decorate your sketchbook, you can paint on your sketchbook, and don't make the mistake I made earlier of calling it something besides a sketchbook. I have a lot of students accidentally call it an art book. Well, an art book could be like an art textbook or a book teaching you about art or how to draw. This is specifically a sketchbook. And this one's kind of nice because you can actually rip out the pages in case there was something that you did like in your sketchbook and you wanted to use it for something else. But it is a little bit on the small side, which is good for portability, but it's not as good for practicing and keeping art assignments in there. Now this is a different type of sketchbook. This is a watercolor sketchbook. So the pages are not going to be as white typically, and they're going to be thicker, and they're going to have a little bit more tooth to them. They're going to have a texture to them. So what I did, I used this sketchbook for comics because I was originally planning to use watercolors for some of my comics, and then I decided just to scan them and draw them digitally instead. So I ended up not using it for watercolor, but I wanted to share with you what that was. Now in the future, some other sketchbooks you might want to use. This one's a lot smaller, but this is a sketchbook that's more in a square format. This is nice if you're primarily an Instagram artist and you want to create artwork or sketches or illustrations that are in that square grid size. So I just wanted to show you this so you can see some different types of sketchbooks that you can get. It's probably not the best one for a beginning art class, but I wanted you to see what's out there in the world. Now this sketchbook, it's just kind of a neat little handy tool right here. I ordered these online, and they actually stick to your sketchbook, and you can take your pencil or pen and just hold it right there, and when you go places, it holds your pencil. That way you don't have to worry about bringing your pencil as well or your pen. Now, just to give you a heads up with these, the sticker, the adhesive on the regular sticker does come off, so you probably do need to apply some super glue like I did to really get that to stick. Now this sketchbook is one that I bought at Michael's. It was $5, and it does the job perfectly for a beginning art student. Now there's different sketchbooks for different purposes. I have this sketchbook, and this is a sketchbook specifically for drawing out comics before I scan them and color them. So what I did with this sketchbook was I dedicated each page to a comic square, and I can scan them elsewhere, but as you can see here, Each one's just a comic. Now, of course, this can be shrunk down to be really small, but you can kind of see how it looks in a larger scale. And then here's one that's not completed. And you can see here, I did draw out the line already. I think you can see that. That way, when I do sketch, I don't have to pull out a ruler and draw that out first. So those are some of the sketchbooks that you can use for beginning arts. And you don't have to be super picky on what type of sketchbook to use, but the main goal is to get a sketchbook. That way you can do all your artwork in the sketchbook. And what we do not want, what we clearly do not want, for your paper to look like this. And no joke, there have been times of being an art teacher where I had students literally pull out papers that look like this out of their backpack, somewhere crumpled up on the bottom of the backpack. And they ask me, oh, can I get full points? And I'm like, no, for that, you're gonna get no points. And I wanna challenge you with this idea. First of all, I wanna challenge you to bring your sketchbook everywhere you go. If you're going to some place where you know you're gonna be bored, or if you're even going to a friend's house, while you're taking beginning arts, go ahead and bring your sketchbook with you and just doodle and sketch. And you see something that's interesting, write it down or sketch it out really quickly. And I want to challenge you with this. If you do not take care of your artwork and you do not treat it as if it's valuable, how do you expect other people to do so? If you don't value your work, you can't expect other people to. So with that, get a sketchbook, keep your artwork nice. I'll catch you later.